there, dickhead.
And welcome to the You Think You Know Me edition of the Grumpy Old Man Wrestling Podcast here on RGC Multimedia. Rick Crabb, and of course joined with me...
Dickhead.
Now, not so fast. I was going to call you Christian. Come on now. So, of our show, Chris Filato.
Yeah, you're the Edge, I'm your Christian.
Yeah.
You must be the leader.
Yeah, we're joined by a longtime friend and wrestling enthusiast, Bev England. You know, She's a little shy at first, but, you know, we'll probably get her to open up a little bit later on. Especially if Lex Luger's getting beat up like she beat the hell out of my arm like 30 years ago watching.
Or Sabu in the ECW arena.
Mm-hmm, yeah, that too.
Boo-boo.
Yeah, boo-boo, yeah.
Yeah, we haven't eaten it anyway. Bev, you in the mood for some food or what? That's the inside joke we got.
That's very inside.
So anyway, we have a lot to talk about. The Royal Rumble happened since our last broadcast. A few things I want to go over with you on that, Chris. First of all, what did you think of that card?
I still say it's my favorite show of the year of any outside of New Japan having the Wrestle Kingdom show. It's my favorite show of the year. It's unpredictable. I don't go to the news sites at all that day. I don't do what the surprises were, and there were surprises. They called back some old names that you're familiar with. When especially the Women's Rumble, when you saw Victoria, remember Tara, the Spider Girl, yeah. Jillian Hall, the Debbie Gibson wannabe bad singer gimmick. Mickey James.
Carlito, right?
Carlito on the men's side, yeah. I spit in the face when people don't want to be cool. Carlos Colon's son. Christian. Bad Bunny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He should go. He should take that left turn back to Albuquerque.
Yeah, but like I said, overall, I give the pay-per-view 4 out of 5.
I thought it was a good card too. Yeah. Couple WWE-isms, of course. One thing that really pissed me off: the pre-show. I hate when they put title matches in the damn pre-show.
Oh yeah,
the women's match.
They went and had a women's tag title match with Nia Jax, you know, the big Samoan girl they have, Shayna Baszler, who's a former MMA girl, against Charlotte Flair and Asuka. Flair, they built that women's division around Flair. She's all about Charlotte Flair. What do they call her in Wrestle Talk? The Omni Flair. She's everywhere.
And she's a good worker. I'm a fan of Charlotte. I don't have a problem with that.
She's got her daddy in her. She's got her daddy in her.
But you would have thought that Asuka did double duty and did a buried alive match with The Undertaker, because that is exactly what they're doing with her right now.
She ate the pin. She ate the pin, and she's been eating pins for the last month or right now. And she's the women's champion Raw.
Who also did not have a title match.
Yeah.
Yeah, the SmackDown Women's Champion.
Sasha Banks against Carmella, which is Corey Graves' girlfriend, which you couldn't help hearing Graves going, stop lathering over the mic.
And I swear, Asuka, I mean, it's like for a while you didn't even see her on TV for a while. Then at least, okay, she was doing the thing with Kairi Sane, and she was tag team champions, and they gave her the stupid Great Muta gimmick with the
Mist
and all that. Yeah. And then they made her a babyface again,
because Vince relies on nostalgia too much. He thinks, oh, you're Japanese, you gotta spit mist.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, she doesn't speak English that well, so I guess there's the promo thing. Put a manager with her. That's what he used to do with supposed other Japanese
Nakamura's people. English is better. Put her with Nakamura. Nakamura's English is very good.
Or you could have had, like, Flair do the promos for her, or whatever. But use her more. And, I mean, if anybody ever watches her on her YouTube channel, she's such a sweet girl. She's just basically at heart, she's just a
foodie with video game fetish.
Yeah. To say like a video game nerd more. I mean, really nice girl. She's shy, quiet. In the ring.
I heard outside the gimmick, she's traditional Japanese.
Yeah.
She's very quiet to herself and demure.
Mm-hmm. But the gimmick itself, she's like a female to Jerry. I mean, she does the kicks and all that.
She's a buzzsaw.
Yeah.
She is just a buzzsaw. I mean, if you ever... I'll show you a match. I'll put it on a memory stick for you for the Royal Rumble.
So instead of showing a talented performer like that, what does Vince think? Wow, that's good shit, pal. Lacey Evans with 100-year-old Ric Flair. I mean...
Who's still, like... He's 72. He's high risk. He's in a place where he could catch it like that. Ric Flair is invulnerable. He kicked out of a coma at 2.
Right.
Remember, was it a year or 2 ago? He was in a coma. He was in a coma.
But in the same token, like I said, either last episode or episode before that, though, Chris, he's only 20 years older than us. If somebody who looked and was the same age as Lacey Evans comes up to us at 72, I don't think we're going to kick her out for having,
yeah.
bad ring music, okay?
I will smile on my face.
Yeah, no kidding, exactly.
But they're trying to give Lacey something to do where she's almost like a man-eater.
I like the gimmick when they turn her good for a while. With her
daughter,
and the whole thing that played on a real life thing, being a Marine and all that. Yeah, I mean it's.
For since you don't watch the product that much, Lacey Evans is a former Marine. She had trained in Paris Island. She was an MP. They gave her the Southern Belle gimmick where she's very girly and with the accent and all that, and now she's a heel and she calls everybody she don't like a nasty.
Yeah.
And she's good. She's very good. She don't need this.
Right.
And apparently because Vince likes blondes, so be it. In cotton panties, by the way.
I'm wondering if she leaves the company and goes on to Chris Jericho's podcast, what her feelings really are about that. I mean, she's probably
just creeped out.
Yeah.
And deep inside, she's probably creeped out because she's got this 72-year-old man pawing all over her.
Yeah.
But
there were some good matches, though. Thankfully,
the Goldberg match was 5 minutes.
And not only that, but they saved basically a nuclear explosion throughout Twitter and social media.
Especially from Louisville, Kentucky.
Yeah. Especially if
a certain tennis racket wielding manager.
Well, I have something interesting about him later that has to do with this card. But no, a lot of people they were expecting a meltdown if Goldberg would have won the belt and had to.
Even you said you would have banned. You would have put a ban on Raw.
I was ready to. I was ready to.
Ban on Raw at least.
Mm-hmm.
And Vince, again, he relies on older names. But we're going to talk about that in the Rumble. I think most of the guys in the Rumble were over 40 years old. Randy Orton is over. I think Randy Orton's over 40 now.
Mm-hmm.
Edge is 47. How old is Christian? Kane showed up. How old is Kane?
And that's a problem with WWE. A lot of people criticize them for it. It's like their current stars don't have enough star power. They have to bring in these people that are 40 and 60 and 70 and 100 and 120 to come in.
Mustafa Ali from Retribution basically did a shoot on the Raw Talk Post show a couple weeks ago. That's why he's not allowed to live mic that anymore, because he got off on Goldberg in the Legends night. He says, you got a young locker room who's willing to prove themselves, but you want to cater to guys who can barely walk.
Yeah.
And I agree with him whole fucking heartedly.
Right. And they could have used that as a promo actually on the Legends night, because that's pretty much what Randy Orton was saying in a more written...
Well, did you hear about the whole thing about the setup of Goldberg, that Drew was supposed to do a promo about the Legends and all that?
Yeah.
It made it sound like a condescending. The promo never made it to the air.
Yeah.
And when Goldberg came out, when he countered that with no... It made it look like a complete botch job.
Yeah, kind of like some of the episodes of our show, shitty editing, basically.
Yeah. And like I said, the Roman Reigns Kevin Owens match, you can see Paul Heyman's fingerprints all over this match because of all the spots. They even stole something from AEW with a golf cart.
Except Roman Reigns. Well, I'll tell you about that. Okay, I mentioned our favorite tennis racket swinging manager. He commented about he actually liked that match, and he said that's one thing. He said that WWE improved on that part instead of just a half-ass run. You know, it was like,
Getting Sammy Guevara head on.
Right. And one thing he said that was interesting, that was almost like TMI, but I think there are a few people in this audience that would be interested. I know you and I would, probably all three of us in this room. He commented on what Kevin Owens did with the handcuffs.
Yes.
Well, the thing was, if you don't remember, Bev, the match was supposed to be a last man standing. So what Kevin Owens did, he actually, what was it, Chris, like a guardrail or something?
One of the props, one of the rafter props. He
took these handcuffs and handcuffed Roman Reigns to it, so it was just enough he couldn't stand up.
Last man standing.
And the referee started counting, made everybody think Kevin Owens was going to win. Nope. Roman takes the referee, throws him into the hockey boards, and...
Didn't he low blow him? No, he low blowed Owens, yeah.
He low blowed Owens. Mm-hmm. And then, as that happened, Paul Heyman came out with a key to open the handcuffs.
Come waddling out.
Now, Cornette said few things interesting about that I didn't know. If you notice the handcuffs in those matches, they have that long chain.
Yeah.
He said those aren't wrist handcuffs, they are actually leg shackles.
Yeah.
And he said they use them a lot. And I was making fun of Heyman for taking forever with the handcuffs. Mm-hmm. One thing he said that I'm guessing this is with like actual police issue and not like little joke ones you get like at Party City or something. Yeah. All handcuff keys are the same.
He fumbled with them.
Right. And he was even saying, he said, yeah, unlike me, old Happy Heyman apparently hasn't had a lot of experience with handcuffs inside or outside the ring. I've had plenty. But
he's been arrested enough, yeah.
But he said the reason they do that is for police. Like if one officer has somebody in custody and he wants the other officer to release him, he can just use his keys to...
Yeah.
And he said it would make sense for a manager to have keys to handcuffs, so, you know.
Yeah, it took him a while to get him undone. Like I said, you can see Heyman's fingerprints on it, even though, from what I heard, it was Michael Hayes who planned that match. This is a kudo to Michael Hayes. I thought he did a great job.
Yeah.
Did you hear who planned and booked the men's Rumble match?
No.
Abyss.
Really?
Abyss. Chris Park. Yeah, Chris Park.
I didn't even know he was with the company now.
Well, remember when they did the whole AJ chart thing last year? You saw Joseph Park. Chris Park. Abyss. In a suit, short hair, everything. He's now producer backstage at WWE.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I thought they just let him go after that.
They didn't let him speak or anything, but he was doing his Joseph Park lawyer gimmick there.
Right.
But and I'll even ask you this. Paul Heyman's one of the best talkers in the business, right?
Oh, yeah.
Why is he there next to Roman when Roman does all the talking?
That's a good question.
Does that, I mean, we mentioned this.
Especially since John Cena actually busted Roman's balls about this during a promo and said, okay, son, this is how you sell a promo. You got to speak up, talk, you know.
Oh, they're during the John Cena Roman Reigns feud, yeah.
Right. I mean, you went from this guy saying sucker and succotash like Sylvester the Cat, and now all of a sudden he's the head of the table.
Well, he's got those new teeth, too, so. Yeah, new veneers put in. And what do you think of the Samoan Godfather gimmick? Now, he reminds me so much of Don Corleone now.
I mean, it's definitely good. They should have probably done something like this with him earlier. Either that or just made him like a Monster Savage heel, kind of like an Umaga kind of guy or something.
Well, when I listened to Russell talk this morning, they mentioned something that I didn't notice. You've starting to see chips in the armor where when Edge didn't come out last night, you saw him lose his shit.
Yeah.
And he started raising his voice. He usually doesn't raise his voice. He says, I'm the head of the table. You got to acknowledge me. Like that. He raised his voice. When was the last time you heard Roman Reigns yell?
Yeah.
Scream.
Well, Edge even said in the storyline, he said, I'm in your head already, you know.
Yeah.
And...
Well, here's the speculation. Who do you think, since Edge won the Rumble, who do you think he's going to pick? You get your choice of champion. And he showed up on all three shows. He showed up on NXT. And I like the promo he said on NXT. He says, the two big shows are focused on the entertainment. On NXT, you focus on that middle letter, the W. Yeah.
Wrestling.
The wrestling letter. And he says, this is what made me hungry again. And you look at Finn Balor and says, that's the one thing I never had. And I would love this. Him and Finn Balor, I could watch that all day. Him and Roman?
Yeah.
Him and Drew? Been there, done that. With Drew's there when he was still there.
I have a feeling what'll happen is he'll go after Balor, but Roman will interfere. Or he'll get his toady cousin to do it.
Well,
we're
going to get Balor versus Pete Dunne at the next TakeOver, which is next Sunday night. Mm-hmm. Which on Valentine's Day they're going to call it Vengeance Day. Which, if you've never seen Pete Dunne, this guy is a beast. He's not a big guy, and he wears a mouthpiece, but he does the whole joint manipulation thing and just does the whole finger thing, with Marty Scurll, the villain, did from Ring of Honor.
Wasn't his nickname? It used to be the Bruiserweight.
He calls himself the Bruiserweight because he's not a big guy, and he gets the title shot against Finn. You've seen Finn Balor, and I hope we get the Demon. We haven't seen the Demon in years.
You think that would work in NXT though? He's
done it when he first started there. When I remember when they had the NXT London show, the TakeOver show against Samoa Joe, he came out dressed as, it's the Demon dressed as Jack the Ripper. Mm. When they did the show in Dallas, he had a chainsaw. So you could tell he knows his shit. Right. He wore the Venom paint because he's a big nerd. Most of them are. I love the Demon character. When the Fiend debuted 2 years ago, and against Finn Balor, it should have been Fiend versus Demon,
right?
Not Fiend versus Finn Balor.
Well, the whole thing was it was to push the Fiend, so you know.
Yeah. A couple of takeaways from the Women's Rumble match I saw was when Alexa came in and they got her in mid-transformation before she became Fiend Alexa. Rhea Ripley just threw her right the fuck out of the ring. And you've never seen this girl, Rhea Ripley. She's 6 foot. She's the future of the business. She's the future of the business. I think, and you'll like her song theme music too, I think. I'll show you after we get off the air. This girl is a shit kicker. She's she's from New Zealand, or is she Aussie?
Aussie.
She's an Aussie. And she's just a straight up shit kicker. And you gotta see these young generations. Her, Toni Storm from Australia. Oh no, she's an Aussie too, right?
Not sure.
She's from that area.
Yeah.
Io Shirai down at NXT. I mean, the women's division in NXT is so stacked right now. It's unfucking real. And they got the best women's division in the United States right now. And that's under a WWE umbrella. Think about that. Hunter knows what he's doing down there. And we've been pleading on the last couple of shows of a 75-year-old man step down and let Hunter take over. Because right now, you know who's running NXT? Hunter, Sean, Road Dogg.
They're doing a better job.
They are doing a better job. Yeah, they're doing a much better job. Road Dogg's been booking most of the matches for him, I'm hearing.
And so just call it NDXT, I guess.
NDXT, yeah. And I'll even say, out of the 3 shows I watch, NXT's heads and tails above the other 2. Because Raw's the drizzling shits. It's been the drizzling shits. That worst rating show they ever had about a month or so ago, the writers wrote that for Vince. That show was all about Vince. That, stroke the ego. Stroke the ego.
Stroking something else more like it.
I said this on another show. I never said this in front of you. Gail Kim said she was walking by Vince's office one time when she was working there, and she said she saw one of the writers coming out crying. Vince rips up scripts as they're writing, and they're writing them as the show's going on. Yeah. And how long's a push been lasting in WWE? 3 weeks?
At least.
At least. It's schizophrenic booking. Nobody gets a decent push. You get a push for 3 weeks, and you're done.
Why?
It's Vince. Vince said in an old Playboy interview that he's dyslexic. I think he's also OCD, and he's also ADD.
And he's probably going through...
Probably senility.
Now,
probably senility, too. He's 75. From what we're hearing, he's lost some of his hearing. He's 75. He's 75. How old was his dad before he passed away? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
His dad was up there in age when he sold. He didn't inherit the company from his dad. He bought the company from his father.
Oh.
Yeah, he bought the company from his father. And if his father saw, and his grandfather who helped start that company, see what he's doing, one, the money would be great, but two, son, you don't know how to run a fucking business. Even though Attitude Era. Everybody wants the Attitude Era. What was the Attitude Era? All the ideas stolen from Paul Heyman. Did he do that? And remember that promo on SmackDown he did with Vince in the ring? He said, "You stole all my ideas." He says, "You're spitting on the grave of your father. You're spitting on the grave of your grandfather. This attitude is my idea. It's ECW, basically. Where we had women doing pillow fights and lingerie matches."
Although, he came up with a lot of stuff, but a lot of that stuff has been derivative. I mean, they've done stuff like that in Memphis and old NWA and in Japan before. I mean, I
never saw old NWA have bra and panty matches with the women.
No, I'm talking about ECW.
Okay.
ECW, I mean, they maybe had like one or two, but they didn't do a whole lot of
Well, you had
really.
cat fights with Beulah and Francine all over the place, and you have Joey Styles yell cat fight.
Right.
But the evolution of the business, like what we said about The Undertaker, what he said on Joe Rogan's show, on the last show. Like I said, she didn't hear this. Undertaker said this generation is soft.
True.
Okay?
Yeah.
He said, back then, the guys came in with knives and guns in their bags. Nowadays, they're just playing video games and looking pretty for the camera.
Yeah.
And Goldberg even said this on the WWE podcast, says this generation's soft. To the point where we got Rey Mysterio's 23-year-old wet behind the ear son wrestling now. Not in a mask. He's trying to do his daddy's moves. He can't do his daddy's moves. He's a lot taller than his dad. Because Rey's 5'5", if that. And they're saying that he's the greatest mask wrestler of all time. Hello, Mil Mascaras.
Right.
Hello,
like Blue Demon.
Blue Demon and all that from all the Luchador days.
Right.
Rey Mysterio is great, but he's not, like you even said.
I think he's overrated.
He's overrated. And who was your favorite back then that you saw in the Indies and even came to TNA? Little Red-headed guy, right?
Oh,
Amazing Red.
Oh, from the SATs.
Yeah, SATs. Amazing Red. Right now, I think he's booking for Impact, some of the X Division stuff now. But we're going on for the Rumble. The women's match was serviceable.
Right.
It's Sasha going over because we all know Sasha. It's probably going to be Bianca Belair who won the female Rumble against Sasha Banks. Again, you get your choice of champion. It's either going to be Bianca. It's going to be Sasha Banks. I don't think it's going to be Io.
Right.
Or Asuka. And I'm saying this right now. They're pushing Bianca to the moon. She's getting that belt at Mania. Like I said, we said this. The girl's a good talent. She's a fucking great talent. She knows the business inside and out. She knows how to do it. She ain't built like a Barbie doll. She don't have boobs up to her ass. Okay?
But she's very athletic. And
she's very athletic.
She's a lot more talented and a lot less annoying than her husband, those Street Profits.
The Street Profits who want to be the next ghetto black tag team. Vince is like, you're black. You're going to be ghetto. Really? Really? Look at Crime Time.
Right.
Okay? Not every black tag team has to be like that.
Well, the whole thing with SmackDown, I don't know if you saw that or not. They're stealing the New Days gimmick where they're doing commentary.
Yeah, and even Wrestle Talk said that this morning. It says, why aren't they on the commentary table next to Corey Graves and Michael Cole instead of being in a booth fucking calling it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they got the little square picture-in-picture bullshit.
Well, it could be COVID, but who knows? Yeah. I don't know. But
speaking of which, you want to talk about Cutler?
Do it.
Steve Cutler, who was in the Forgotten Sons. Yeah, I forgot who they were. With Jackson Riker and Wesley Blake. Not Wesley Blake. Oh, yeah, Wesley Blake. Came down with COVID. He got fired for it. Let me explain something to you. He's on SmackDown, right? Roman Reigns is a leukemia survivor. His immune system is compromised. Vince did everything he could to make it a safe workplace. Cutler and his girlfriend, the Knockouts champion in Impact, Deonna Purrazzo, went to a New Year's Eve party. Yeah, put two and two together. They got the New Year's Eve surge. Apparently, they didn't show symptoms. They showed up for work. Roman could keel all over from this. And Vince was furious at this, from what I heard.
But you know what? You say you created a safe workplace. I'm going to balk at that because...
How many outbreaks? 3 so far?
Not only that, but you're supposed to do some testing. If they would have done some testing, all you got to do is just... You can buy those damn thermostats that you put to your forehead and test them, when they come in. And
my old job, we used to, before we got into work, they did the thermostat to our head.
Right.
Yeah. But, like I said, it's been 3 or 4 outbreaks. The only person to come out public on television was the WWE champion, Drew McIntyre. And he said, and he was out for 2 weeks. He just stayed away. He was doing video promos from his house. And he was the only one publicly, in camera, saying he had it. Where Kayla Braxton, who the interview girl, said she had it twice. Adam Pearce went on Twitter. They got yelled at by management because they went to social media. Yeah, that's the, and the only
damn it, pal! Don't peek behind the curtain. Ignore what you hear behind.
He's the Wizard of Oz, You don't look behind the curtain. And AEW's had outbreaks. Nick Jackson from the Young Bucks and Chris Jericho said they had it. Okay, they stayed away. Impact, I'll say it again. Impact, unless they're keeping it very secretive, you haven't heard a peep about this from them at all. Which was TNA. It's now Impact. They even though they're using the old TNA World Heavyweight title on Moose, and you gotta see Moose. Moose is 6'5". Wow. Almost 295 pounds of chiseled steel. Big black dude. He used to play in the NFL. He looks like a champion compared to Rich Swann, who doesn't look like a world champion material when you think about it.
He looks like he can make Rich Swann into a chicken patty.
Basically, yeah. Yeah, that's what... Yeah, because Rich Swann's what? I'm taller than Rich Swann. We met Rich Swann at CCW. I'm taller than Rich Swann. And me and him may weigh about the same. I'm 155. Me and him weigh about the same. He could be X Division guy instead of world champion guy.
He could be a heavyweight in AEW.
Yeah. We even talked about this. How many horses, big guys, do they have in AEW?
Well, they got a few now. I mean, you have Hager, you have Archer, you have
Wardlow. And who else is coming in? Nobody, really. That's it.
Right. The rest of them are,
junior heavyweight
monkeys.
guys.
Yeah,
spot monkeys. The man who cussed me out at CCW for wearing a Ravens jersey in the ring, Eddie Kingston, is in AEW, who is the best talker in the business right now.
Yes,
he could talk you into a match. He knows how to do it. And he's more of a brawler type guy. He doesn't technical guy. I'm not a big fan of that too much because you get too much of a steady diet that gets boring. Even Cornette. What does Cornette think about Kingston?
Same thing. He basically he likes his promo style, but he thinks he's not
dry in the ring.
Well, he's a brawler. He said he doesn't like his physique. He said he looks sloppy, but he said it works for him. He looks like a car mechanic in Brooklyn that's going to turn around and hit you with a wrench.
He does, yeah. He's from New York, and he has that definite New York accent.
He's like the Brooklyn Brawler with ability, but anyway.
Yeah. And going into AEW, are we going to talk about the invasion?
We will eventually, but actually something before that, though.
Yes.
Freaking Miro.
Oh, yeah, the wedding.
I thought he got away from WWE because of wedding bullshit. And he gets into another angle like that.
Yep.
And they switched the players. Instead of him popping out of the cake, it was
Orange Cassidy. Mr. Sunglasses. Mr. has his hands in his pockets. She agrees with you, doesn't like the gimmick.
Yeah.
I actually saw, I forget what store it was. They actually had I think it was Walmart. They had the denim jackets like this. I might actually dress as him for Halloween next year.
All you got to get is the mirror sunglasses.
Yeah, I'll keep the stubble, and I'll get his white T-shirt, and there you go.
Well, even when you watch AEW, when you do, you say, "Who's this guy, and why is he on my TV?"
Right.
What does
Cornette said? It's not a who's who, it's a who's he. Yeah. Who's he or who's that?
What's his nickname for him? Pockets. He calls him Pockets.
Yeah.
He calls him my dog Pockets.
My little dog Pockets. Yeah.
Well, what does he call the young bucks? He calls them one. He calls them one balding buck, and what's a Hogan buck?
Yeah. And one of them he was calling Road Warrior Buck because he didn't sell for anything.
Yeah.
But you have that. I mean, the Dark Order stuff. I mean, it's for the little kid.
Yeah, the for kid, which I watched the Brody tribute show. It is the perfect tribute show you've ever seen in your life. It's the most perfect show. They bent over backwards for this kid, his 8-year-old son. They even gave him a mask. He was a member of the Dark Order. They called him -1. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're bending over. He's already got a contract signed when he wants to wrestle when he gets older to work for that company. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, wow.
And one team in that division, I wish they would lose one member of them because it's the Jurassic Express.
Oh.
If they would have just had Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus as a team, that would have been amazing. But they insist on having this little
shit
Billy
show.
Party, little shit.
Marco Stunt, he had dark
Stunt.
brown hair, he's about this tall. And he's a bump machine, that's all he is. And Jungle Boy, you probably remember, his dad was Luke Perry from 90210.
Oh, yeah.
And he's good. He's very good.
And that match that they had last week, well, it wasn't on the last...
Ago.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago, it was him against...
one of the Revival, FTR, the bald guy from FTR. It was a great match.
They had the other FTR guy and Tully Blanchard handcuffed again to Luchasaurus. It looked like an old, I don't know, Great American Bash match.
Yeah.
You might have even been to it. You remember they had one in Baltimore. They had El Gigante, he had Ole Anderson and JJ handcuffed to him.
You were there. This when Sting won the title. Yeah.
Yeah. But it was a lot like that. But we'll get to what you've been.
Oh boy! There was a 6-man at the end of the show with Moxley, Pac, the British dude, looks like an elf.
Used to be Neville in WWE.
And Rey Fenix, one of the Lucha Brothers. Who, if you've never seen Rey Fenix, Rey Mysterio needs to take lessons from this boy.
That's the truth.
Yeah, that is the truth. This guy does top rope shit I've never seen before. Mm. And he's a Mexican. I've actually met him and his brother Pentagon at a CZW show without the mask. I've seen what they look like. Penta doesn't know any English. They're from Mexico. Rey knows English, but in limited form. Against Kenny Omega and your Impact World Tag Team Champions, the Good Brothers, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson.
Nerds!
Yeah. The thing is, they're doing that cross-promotional thing, which Tony Schiavone and owner Tony Khan are doing paid ads on Impact saying they're promoting the AEW show. He says, yeah, we've bumped your viewership up from 1 to 6. Because it's on Access and nobody wants to... When Kenny Omega won the title and said, and Don Callis was there, Cyrus, right? Don Callis says, you got to watch Impact next week. We're going to say something. Impact's numbers viewing went way up. Almost to a million views. It's including their Twitch channel. Because they broadcast on Twitch also.
What channel are they actually on besides Twitch?
Access.
Access, that's
because the company that owns Impact is Anthem Sports. They own Access. So they pushed New Japan off that channel to put Impact on there. Oh. Yeah. We had a clusterfuck ending with Moxley winning, wasn't it? Was it Omega?
It was Omega. No, the heel team won.
The heel team won, yeah. And after the match, Moxley gets attacked by a guy in a hood. He takes off the mask and the hood. It's Kenta from New Japan Pro Wrestling wearing a Bullet Club Go to Sleep Club shirt. Because if you read Twitter like I do, Tama Tonga, one of the Haku's sons, who's a member of the Bullet Club, when they debuted the new Bullet Club here in the United States, Tama said, cease and desist. Stop it. Just stop it. We're Bullet Club. Stop it. It's either, if this is an angle, it's a brilliantly played angle. Because of COVID and the travel restrictions, the Bullet Club Japan can't come over and do a full-fledged invasion. Kenta lives in Florida. So that's where they do the show. He hit the go to sleep. And did you see the video after the show went off the air with Kenta and Omega?
Yeah.
I didn't see it yet. You want to tell her about the video?
Basically what happened, Omega went up to Kenta and said, hey, good to see you, man. Thanks for coming, And Kenta turned around and said to Omega, fuck you, Kenny. We literally said that. He said, fuck you, Kenny. I'm not here to be your friend. I'm here to beat Moxley's ass. So,
yeah. Because Moxley is the IWGP U.S. champion, but because of the restrictions, he hasn't been able to go to Japan. So they're going to have a show at their L.A. dojo, since Kenta lives here in the States, and he won the #1 contendership. He has a briefcase. He gets that title shot at New Beginning in a couple weeks in Los Angeles. They're going to tape it in Los Angeles. Because Moxley lives in Vegas. It's a short car drive to him. So, but they've been feeding into this rumor that there's... and I've been hearing there is now a deal between them and New Japan. That we might see more Japanese talent once the travel restrictions get loosened. That we're going to see maybe the Gorillas show up. And you said yourself, you want them to beat the living shit out of the Young Bucks.
oh yeah, big time.
Because when...
And Kenny overrated her.
Okay, when they did the Impact pay-per-view, when Omega did the Impact pay-per-view against the six-man, guess what gear they were wearing? Bullet Club. They had Bullet Club written all over their gear. Tama Tonga went on a fucking fit on Twitter. He's basically, it's setting up Bullet Club versus Bullet Club, maybe a real-life civil war. Does that interest you? Does that interest you to see these guys come over once the restrictions are done?
Oh, yeah.
Would you like to see more Japanese guys? I've shown him one of the most nightmarish men in New Japan. Minoru Suzuki, who's our age, right? We're all in our 50s. He's our age. He's a shit kicker. They use him to scare children to behave.
Wow.
He's not a big guy, but he also was an MMA cage fighter. And when you hit, he'll take 4 hits. He'll literally laugh in your face and give you 1 hit to the head.
And he has a hairstyle like a pineapple. I mean, scary.
I'll show you Minoru Suzuki after we leave the air, too. You have to see this man. This man... There's another guy named Tomohiro Ishii. He's built like a fire hydrant. He's low to the ground and wide. And they had a match every 10 minutes. They would do 10 minutes of forearming each other in the head. It's not like, wow. They're forearming each other in the head. You can hear the contact. And Suzuki's laughing it off. He's laughing. He sticks his tongue out and laughs at him. And it's terrifying. And they said, What Culture, with the stuff he watches, they said fantasy booking, says Suzuki versus Kingston would be perfect. Because Kingston's a brawler, Suzuki's a shit kicker, and I could see him take a punch and just laugh at him. And just say, one more. And like I said, we're going to see more Impact guys coming in because... we have new tag. They restarted the Knockouts tag titles in Impact, and they have Kiera Hogan and Tasha Steelz. He's seen Tasha Steelz at NWA Power, a young black tag team. They're calling themselves Fire and Flavor, and they called out any team that Tony Khan sends at them, meaning AEW. And Diamante, who's Kiera Hogan's real life partner, when Kiera came out, went on Twitter and says, "Interesting. Maybe we should make a trip to Impact." Because she's got a partner with Eva Lee, 2 Latinas. And again, AEW don't know how to book females at all. They're improving by baby steps. Because we get our 5-minute women's match.
Well, they don't know how to book females. A lot of times I don't think they know how to book the guys either. But
it's the boys booking the boys. Because it's run by the boys. Even though there's Tony Khan... money, and we'll say this again, Tony Khan's a money mark. He's a mark just throwing money at him because his daddy's a billionaire. And because remember, I'll take you back to MCW or MEWF. Remember a manager who looked like a penguin named Royce Prophet?
Yeah.
He was the money guy behind MCW and MEWF. He was rich, wrestling fan, wanted to be part of the show. He was a money mark. That's what we call money marks.
Yeah.
And he would hang out with Sabatinos with the guys after the show. But like I said, AEW, I'm glad the invasion's happened. I've been saying this is a three-way right now interpromotional thing. Maybe we'll see them come to Impact. Maybe a couple of guys from New Japan go to Impact once the restrictions come up. Okada's not going back because they gave him a stupid Kato gimmick the last time he was there. He had a mask on. He was like Kato the driver. Samoa Joe hung him upside down and beat the shit out of him. And Sonata's been there, but I don't think he'll go back because Dixie Carter gave him a bad taste in his mouth, so to speak.
Oh my.
Oh my. She sold the company to Anthem. Matter of fact, when they did the Kurt Angle video DVD or retrospect thing for WWE, she actually came in and did some interviews for the WWE. You see Dixie Carter on WWE Network.
Is that what you said?
Yeah. There were rumors going that she was going to go work for Vince. Could you imagine her working for Vince?
Well, I don't know. She'd probably look good in cotton white panties, but
she could be the next Vicky Guerrero. Remember, Vicky Guerrero knew nothing about being in the business until Eddie died, and then she came into the business, and look how big she got.
And I'm glad you brought her name up.
Excuse me?
Yeah, excuse me. Vicky Guerrero, where the hell did you go? And
she showed up Wednesday night.
But they hardly ever use her, though. Hardly ever use her.
Because who you managed? Our favorite X-Man, Nyla Rose.
Right. Why? I mean, former champion. As you said, that's how
they book the women.
Yeah.
We had one women's match on AEW, which was Thunder Rosa versus Adam Cole's girlfriend, Britt Baker, the dentist, and that was it. On Raw, you have maybe two. On SmackDown, maybe two. On NXT, maybe one or two. But you have one match on a 2-hour show. That look. What do you think? What do you think? You think that's...
I think God's thinking he wouldn't have a job at AEW.
Yeah. It's like... I'm all about equal opportunity and equal all this. With Evolution, the all-women's pay-per-view they had a couple of years ago, which I thought was a great step. They built that pay-per-view around Ronda Rousey. Yeah, because Ronda was there. There's rumors of Ronda coming back.
Well, they did that also because none of the women could wrestle in those backward Arab countries that Vince likes to...
Yeah, we had our first women's match in Saudi Arabia, but they had to cover up from head to toe.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they had Alexa Bliss and Sasha Banks in Abu Dhabi. They had to dress in bodysuits. Yes. Because you know how the women dress and wrestle. Yeah. They're supposed to make sex appeal. What's forbidden in the Muslim countries, yeah. You got to go with the customs where you're at.
Although there are some people that might have actually backfired on them because they might have thought, wow, they're in these tight bodysuits now.
Well, with Lacey and Natty, when they did the Saudi show last year, they wore oversized Raw T-shirts on top of the bodysuits, not to show any curves. Like I said, it's a draconian society. It's on the other side of the planet. We have no say in it. They got their own set of rules. Like if we go to any other country, they got their own set of rules. But like I said, I'm looking forward to the invasion. I'm looking forward for a bridge, maybe Ring of Honor or NWA being that bridge. You think?
It's possible.
Because NWA is still doing shows in California now. They used to be in Atlanta. You know who owns NWA now? Billy Corgan from the Smashing Pumpkins.
Really?
Yes. And we both watched the, what was it?
NWA
Power show, which, you want to name the theme music?
Well, first, they had 2 seasons, which was really stupid because they were only like 3 months apart. But their first few episodes, it was Docking into the Fire.
Yep.
And then I'm Broken from Pantera. But it did that like after every pay-per-view, I guess. Because he had like a couple of pay-per-views.
And they're doing the old-fashioned studio wrestling. You watch those Saturday nights from TBS.
It looked like the old TBS set where they had the flags in the background, and they even had like the corny 80s backdrop for their interviews and all that. But
yeah, it's like it would look like 1985 all over again. You even see the old-fashioned film cameras, not like the guys with on the wheels and shit. Yeah. And they're doing it in Shockwave. Does Shockwave have intro music now?
Trying to remember. It's like the last episode of Shockwave. There wasn't anybody I recognized. It wasn't any of the power people. It was just
California.
guys. Just indie guys. Yeah. I mean, it's like
unless you're a hardcore niche guy watching pro wrestling guerrilla, you wouldn't know who these guys were. NWA. I watched one episode, brought a Ring of Honor guy in. They brought Michael Bennett in with his wife, Marie Kanellis, against the NWA World Champion, Nick Aldis, who you knew in TNA as Magnus. British dude. He's going under his own name. He has a female valet named Camille. Camille came in and interfered. If you ever see Camille, Camille's built like a brick shit house. She's a workout beast.
She's a bodybuilder, a former Legends Football League player, otherwise lingerie Football League player. I mean, basically she's built like China, except at the time she was a blonde. Now she's last time I saw her, she's a redhead.
Yeah.
But
and I actually saw her spear a couple guys on NWA.
Well, in fact, on the beginning of our program, when we show our intro, it says "Let's go to the ring." That's her.
Yeah, that's her. When you watch it, the video promo, you see her spearing Tim Storm. And Tim Storm's a big, bulky, hulking guy. Yeah. And she actually stands up to him chest to chest, you know. And, yeah, shut up.
Lucky Tim Storm,
shut up. Yeah. But I hope Ring of Honor, which they're still filming at UMBC Empty Arena. And Impact is doing empty arena shows, even though they're piping in crowd noise now.
Oh, God.
WWE's doing it, even though they're doing the virtual crowds.
The Max Headrooms.
The Max Headroom crowds, yeah. And they're piping in, like when Roman Reigns showed up, they piped in the "You Suck" chant.
And I will say the company I think is doing the best with that is AEW. Not just because they actually do have real fans like...
Only like 1,000, like a handful.
Yeah, all the way in the nosebleeds, but I liked how they did it. I mean, it's like when WWE had like their development people, they just had them around the ring pretending to be fans.
Yeah.
AEW does the same thing and with Dark, but the difference with them, they actually have that whole little perimeter split where you had the left side are your heels, the right side's your baby faces. Yeah. I thought that was a cool
Dark
idea.
Every once in a while, Dark is basically squash matches against developmental guys.
Right.
Yeah, like you see on Superstars when you watch Superstars. And you'll get that one main event. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's not a bad show. It's not a bad show for what it is. It's talent enhancement.
It's free YouTube. One show I really enjoy, and I actually saw it on regular cable on BN Sports, but I watch it usually on YouTube before it. MLW Fusion.
That's another promotion coming out of Chicago. And
actually in Florida now.
But they were based in Chicago. It's called Major League Wrestling. I forgot who owns it.
Brett Cord, I think it is.
Yeah. I don't know.
He used to be an executive for WWE, and in fact, they started off in Philadelphia. They even had Joey Styles as commentary. You might remember.
The arena.
In fact, you might remember he was let go from there because he made a joke about it was related to Trump about one of the female announcers having somebody grab for her.
Or snooch, yeah.
Coochie, but they are. I think that company is what AEW tries to present itself because it actually is a blend of styles. Yes. They have a relationship with AAA. They have a lot of lucha libre. They have Tommy Lawler from the UFC. So he has like a little stable called Team Filthy where he has a couple of actual MMA guys. They have this heel faction I really like called Contra, which has Jimmy Fatu as their champion, as the lead champion. But basically, they're kind of like ISIS if they were a wrestling faction. They go out, they even, like, they'll attack people, they'll throw fireballs, they'll even if they beat somebody's ass in a match, they actually have, like, a ISIS-like flag that they put over their body and carry them. I mean, really cool shit.
Wasn't Rich Swann part of that in the early days?
He might have been.
Yeah, him and A.R. Fox.
I mean, they've had a lot of people come and go through. A lot of people are now in AEW and Impact.
And you said Jimmy Fatu, one of the Inoue family, right? Fatu's other son, other than the Usos.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you could say what you say about the Von Erichs, about how a dynasty it is. There's no wrestling family like the Inoue family. They have so many members in the wrestling business.
But speaking of the Von Erichs, they are actually there. Kevin Von Erich's two sons wrestle as a tag team now.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Are they barefoot?
Well,
I think when they had them,
didn't you watch that Dark Side?
when they had a video, they were, I think they were both barefoot.
Bev, I think you'd be happy troll you see these guys. Even though I don't think
long hair guys?
They're not really long-haired guys, but still, I think you, yeah.
Oh, the, Von Erich?
Yes.
They're not bad-looking kids.
Yeah.
The thing is, the last time we saw a Von Erich sibling was Lacey. And she's not good. That's Carrie's daughter, and she's not good.
And they've had a few people that recently left from there to AEW. Brian Pillman Jr. wrestled there a lot.
Pillman Jr. looks just like his dad.
He does.
He looks just like his dad, mullet and everything.
Also, Davey Boy Smith Jr., who looked just like the Bulldog himself. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, when Vince tried to restart the Hart Foundation with him and, was it Cesaro or TK? With Tyson Kidd.
I don't remember.
They tried to restart before Tyson Kidd got hurt. And there's a story about that because Samoa Joe was the one that hurt him and put him on the shelf for good. From a muscle buster, which he landed wrong.
But they have a lot of good talent. They have this one. He used to be a heel, but now they're trying to push him like a Hogan, like babyface named Hammerstone. That guy's amazing.
Okay. Do they have their spot monkeys too?
Oh yeah, they had Well, funny you mention that though. Well, the Lucha Brothers were there for a long time. Now their tag team champions are now they're called La Parks. The original La Parka, he now calls himself L.A. Park because his son took the La Parka name in Mexico and died recently.
Yeah.
But his other two sons now wrestle. But now the original L.A. Park and then his son Nacho Grande L.A. Park, whatever his name is. They are they're tag team champions now, and you know they have his other son. They're actually doing like the Killer Bee gimmick, where one of them is hiding in the ring. They're rolling them out and
the mask thing. Yeah, the mask. What infamous guy was working in MLW who's now at Impact? His real name is Samuel Johnson. We know him better as the Callahan Death Machine, Sammy Callahan.
Yeah.
Do you want to explain the whole Cornette thing to her?
They had a thing where Callahan was wrestling for a while. He was allies with a wrestler named Mance Warner. I don't know if you're familiar with him from...
No.
He's funny as hell. He's this brawling redneck...
CZW World Champ.
Yeah. He was a hardcore wrestler, but he has like the redneck gimmick.
He's like a Briscoe of hardcore gimmicks.
He even did a promo where he was allegedly wrestling a bear in his trailer park.
Yeah.
It was funny as shit. But anyway...
Okay.
There's a manager named... Her name is Della Renta. Forget her first name. Gorgeous fucking woman. But anyway, she somehow got control of one of the episodes of Fusion where she was like a guest authority figure. And she forced a match between those two and made it a loser leave MLW. And I think it was just before Callahan went to Impact.
Yeah.
So... Anyway, Cornette had said a few things about Callahan on the show and other places. So Sammy Callahan comes out of the ring drinking a bottle of water. Jim Cornette is actually doing color commentary with Rich City, I think his name is. Anyway, Callahan spits water at Cornette. And Cornette actually swings the racket at him. And just misses him. And
it's a shoot. That was a straight shoot from our herd.
And he said, I'll tell you what. I will pay Vince Warner $300 if he cripples that son of a bitch. It was hilarious.
If you ever heard Cornette's podcast, he lets the language fly. I mean, he fuck this, fuck that, fuck this, fuck that, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, and he's hilarious on Twitter. I mean, he's hilarious.
I'll have to send you a link. I've sent you a link already. Chris.
Yeah.
Send you a link. Somebody actually did like a rap mashup of things he said about Kenny Omega, Vince Russo, and two different ones about AEW. Oh my God!
He hates AEW because he hates the Bucks and he hates Omega, and when Cornette hates somebody, he hates them for life. He hates Russo with a passion. Matter of fact, I have an old Dixie Carter shoot interview. He invaded it. Goes, okay, I got 3 questions. Why do you keep on hiring Vince Russo? Why do you keep on firing him? Why do you keep on bringing him on? And because, remember, Cornette had to work there with Russo when they were both in TNA. And he hated him working with the WWE. Could you imagine the backstage where Dixie had to pull those two apart?
Well, I heard it was more Doug Mantel and Jeff Jarrett doing that, but yeah.
But, speaking of the wedding, going back to the wedding, I sent her a picture. You want to tell her who officiated the wedding?
Oh, yes, the Sinister Minister.
James Mitchell showed up. Even the commentary team said, I know that guy. He's kind of sinister. Isn't he a minister? And he's been doing weird fucking afterworld voodoo bullshit on Impact. There's a wrestler named Sue Young, who's Rich Swann's real wife. She does the undead bride gimmick. First, she wears the corpse paint and all that. And then we get Susie. Susie's this childlike character. They tried to get rid of Sue Young. We didn't get Susie back. We got Susan, who dresses like Sailor Palin. Glasses and everything. I was like, and she doesn't wear makeup. The hair's just like hers. I was like, I swear to Christ, it's like, you're looking at an Asian Sarah Palin. And she's wearing the business suit. She wrestles in the business suits.
And she sees Nashville out her window.
Yeah, she sees Nashville out her window. And at first I didn't know what to make of it, and I'm hoping we get Sue Young back. Because I even said this, I'm drawn to dark characters. You're drawn to dark characters in wrestling. You like the Bray Wyatt character. Mm-hmm. You like Jake Roberts. Mm-hmm. You like The Undertaker. Yeah. You didn't think much of Raven. Raven was a dark character. Raven was a dark character. How many people did the fucking Raven pose in that arena?
I don't think it's because he wasn't a dark character to me really either. He was more just cashing in on the grunge thing. That's all that was.
Wearing heavy metal T-shirts, yeah.
Well, he also wore Nirvana and Pearl Jam. He also wore He wore a lot of different bands.
And that's not metal.
Yeah. What other dark characters are out there?
Abaddon.
If you've never seen Abaddon, she has a horror gimmick you would love. She has one red contact in, one white contact in. She's got all kinds of corpse paint on. She spits blood.
In other words, she looks like Chris after the night at the Poplar Inn. But anyway,
I think you showed me a picture.
And you got to see her gimmick because she does the whole Undertaker sit up. Cornette made fun of her weight.
Yeah.
Because she's not statuesque. She's short and a little round around the middle. Okay. I kind of like, remember how Chrissy Rivera's short and kind of chubby? Yeah. Kind of like that. She's one of the best horror gimmicks out there right now. And when was the last time we saw her? Like 3 weeks ago?
Right.
We haven't seen her on Dark at all?
Not since that title match, I don't think.
She had a title match against the AEW Sheeta versus the Women's Champ, where she bit Sheeta.
She might still be flossing part of Sheeta's arm, yeah.
Yeah. And I like the gimmick because Sheeta acted like she was actually scared of the woman. I'm like, again, we said this in the last show, Alexa Bliss and Asuka. It was like kind of like Sheeta Abaddon Light, where you saw Alexa change it, and Asuka didn't know what to make of it. Because they did, and a moment of bliss is now a moment of bliss. She's in a playground and swinging on a swing set now, like a child. And you see a rocking horse rocking by itself, and she's talking to it. Yes.
Her invisible friend.
It's Bray. She didn't see the Inferno match. You want to describe that
Have you seen the movie House of Wax?
Yeah.
Basically what it was a fire match between him and Randy Orton, and
You got to set any portion of your body on fire.
And Randy Orton wound up winning because the Fiend kind of walked into fire, and then he got the RKO, and then Orton took some gasoline and allegedly, I'm doing air quotes because you're doing this, Chris, and you're forgetting we're on radio,
air quotes,
video.
Yes.
Set him on fire, and
You can obviously tell it's a dummy.
yeah, you can tell it was. You can learn a lot from a dummy. Yeah, but it looked like a wax mannequin of Bray Wyatt burning into the ring, and supposedly he set him on fire.
Well, what was it? 2 weeks later, when Alexa did that promo, and she started pouring gasoline on herself, she gave the message to Randy. Says, "Do it, do it." And the last thing you saw was Randy with the lights turned out, with Randy with the match. And that's how the show went dark.
Which was bullcrap. All that was Vince wanted to see Alexa in a wet t-shirt. That's what was that.
Because, again, on Raw, the only thing that I like to watch is Alexa Bliss because it's interesting. She's interesting. She reinvented herself. The feat of her being in the Funhouse and being part of the Funhouse, and just in general, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And now it's Alexa's playground now. It's no longer the Firefly Funhouse.
At least for now, anyway.
At least for now, until Bray comes back. And maybe we're getting hints at Mania because you've been seeing the promos. You've been hearing his laughter.
Yeah.
You hear Bray's laughter during the video promos for WrestleMania.
Well, I think all that was is because it was...
You hear...
well, no, they did it last year with a...
Yeah.
It just rehashed the animation from last year.
It just added another number to it. It's 37 instead of 36. We saw Damian Priest, who... You've never seen Damian Priest.
No.
Big guy, Latino, long hair. Yeah, you saw that look on her face. He's, 6'5"?
Yeah, probably.
About 265, can move around like a luchador.
Cool.
He was in Ring of Honor. If you watch Ring of Honor, he was Punishment Martinez. He did the whole gothic, contacts and all that.
I'm not sure if I do that.
He has a great speaking voice too. He has an excellent he has a deep speaking voice. They called him up and they put him with a rapper named Bad Bunny. The guy's a metalhead. The guy's a metalhead because even when he does the pins, he does the horns. And they're going to call up Rhea Ripley. Do you want to explain what they did to her at WrestleMania last year?
She was NXT champion, and when Charlotte won the Royal Rumble, she chose to wrestle against Rhea Ripley. And inside the Performance Center for WrestleMania, where there are no fans, Rhea Ripley was pretty much dispatched by Charlotte, and Charlotte became the NXT champion.
And Ripley went on Lillian Garcia's podcast and basically felt like they're giving too much to Charlotte. They're giving too much to Charlotte. Granted, she because of her last name.
Yeah.
Because of her granted, she is good. She's very good. She's got her like I said, she's got daddy all over her. More than one. But there's other girls there. And we even said, Asuka, who does Asuka have as contenders other than Flair and Raw? Nia Jax, who does it purposely, she's unsafe to work with. She has hurt girls in the ring. Somebody said last year in June, says she's going to cripple somebody or kill somebody. Because Kairi Sane, she gave a concussion. She threw her against the steps and not realizing her head, she went headfirst into the steps. Kairi had to get staples.
I guess what they call them, stiff.
She's big and Samoan. That's all you need to know. She's big and Samoan. Then again, I never saw a small Samoan in my life.
Yeah,
she's unsafe. And I even said this. You know who the best safe big girl is? And you haven't seen her yet. And her name is Jessica Havoc. She's worked for CZW. She's worked for other promotions. She's worked in Ring of Honor. She's a big girl, and she works safe. She knows the business. She won't work for Vince because of something she tweeted years ago. This is the story I've heard, and I've heard this. I said this on the other show. She was in the middle of a tryout at the Performance Center where this tweet came up. She did some homophobic shit. Hunter herself stopped her in a tryout match in the middle and escorted her out of the building. Hunter himself did this.
Wow.
Yeah, and they could have made her the next big name because I want to say she's about 260, 270, and she can move great, and she knows she has the character development. She comes out with this like a kaiju monster, like Godzilla, like she's going to rip your head off and piss down your neck. And I love the gimmick. I love her gimmick, and the only reason she's at Impact right now because her boyfriend is Sami Callihan. Uh-huh. And Sammy's now doing a hacker gimmick. Where he has his phone, if he puts his finger on the phone, the lights go out. What he was doing as Solomon Crow in NXT. I like Impact. Even though they do stupid shit like who shot the referee.
Chris, don't...
Impact, that was...
You're talking to the audience, not just the Bev, so just keep that in mind.
Like I said,
you need to remember.
Impact's not bad. It's better than the Dixie days. It's way better than the Dixie days.
Really? I don't know. So, I try to give it a chance, but every time I turn it on, you get the stupid murder mystery shit, you get the weddings, you get...
The island, they did a reality show-based thing for like a segment where they're all called Wrestle House.
And then they had that stupid Karate Man stuff. I'm like, I'm trying.
Oh, I even said this on the last show. For people who just know WWE, there's more flavors of ice cream out there. I mean, you can, as soon as it clears up when the indies can start back up, go to your indie, support your local indie. I mean, MCW. It's like there's MCW, which is family friendly. You could take your daughter. I could take my niece's children to. There's CCW, who are for more rabid hardcore fans. GCW. I mean, there's the Ring of Honor you could take your kids to. I mean, there's other promotions out there.
I mean, okay, yeah, like what you like, okay, but I wanted to ask you something. Did you happen to see what GCW did last weekend?
The 24-hour show?
Yes.
They did a 24-hour wrestling show. It was supposed to raise money for something, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it might have been for like other indies, and I commend them on that. However, if you're going to raise money with some entertainment, do it with some entertainment. Don't do it with...
Garbage wrestling?
I watched maybe a minute and a half of that. I tried to give it a chance. He had a match where one of the wrestlers was called a very good professional wrestler. That was literally his name.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And again, some guy like an Arab heel gimmick, I forget. But it was...
Sandick used to own the promotion. The referee that used to work for RCW and all that, Brett Lauderdale, who was the correspondence to Nick Gage when he was in jail, now owns it and runs it, along with Nick.
Oh, what?
GCW.
It looked like crap that Gorilla Pro throws up. I'm sorry. It's just stupid, hokey indie shit.
Oh, while you're talking about Gorilla, how much do we actually pay on average to go to an indie show per ticket?
Usually about 10 to
20, about 20,
like 20 bucks
right?
usually, yeah.
Standing room, when I went on my vacation in Los Angeles 2.5 years ago, I wanted to go to a Pro Wrestling Guerrilla show. They sell out like that. We had standing room only. You know how much standing room only tickets were?
15?
60.
Huh?
$60. $60 for standing room only in a small building. And it's like, remember how hot it got in the ECW arena?
Oh, yeah.
Imagine a sardine can in a California heat. Yeah.
And you were treated to Joey Ryan's stick flips. Yeah, good job.
Yeah, Joey Ryan and Excalibur are doing the play-by-play. And Cornette doesn't like Excalibur.
I don't have a problem with Excalibur, right? But
he knows the moves. He knows the history. But he's too indie guy, you know?
Yeah, he's too indie-rific.
I'll even ask you this. I'll ask her then. Who's the best color guy out there right now? You got Jericho fills in every once in a while. He's great, by the way. I will say Samoa Joe. He's great on the booth. He is fantastic on the booth. I think he found a second career.
He's good. Wade Barrett's good, too. I'm a fan of his.
Oh, did you watch NXT Wednesday night when they gave him American? He got his citizenship. He's British.
Yep.
And they gave him. I forgot what book it was, but they gave him American Pie, and Vic Joseph's thumb was in it.
Yeah.
And again,
Samoa, but I agree about Samoa too. I like him.
Corey Graves is serviceable.
Corey
thought
Graves, no, he gets on my nerves. I'm sorry.
Why?
Plus, he's from Pittsburgh and he's a Steelers fan, so screw him.
And he's taking Carmella.
Well, yeah, screw her. I actually would, but
yeah, you would. So would I.
Yeah.
But Jericho, Taz when he comes on the mic, and Taz is when Taz. Remember the famous promo that Heyman did in front of Vince when he said Taz, he was a killer. Now he's a he's a play-by-play guy. He's not even a good play-by-play guy. Bullshit. He's a good play-by-play guy.
Oh, he was a good color commentator.
Yeah, he knew how to talk. Taz always knew how to talk. We remember those famous promos in ECW.
I'll tell you who I'm disappointed in. And I thought he'd be better, and he used to be better. Callis.
Yeah, he's too much of himself now.
Right.
He's too much of himself.
He's more of a manager than,
Well, the thing is, by the way, you know what his Twitter handle is? The Invisible Hand. Because he says he's been engineering this fucking cross-promotional thing for years. Which, he was the one that booked Jericho and Omega in Japan. He did book that. He booked it from bell to bell. And the match I saw was fantastic. It was idiot-proof. Because you got Jericho, and I know how much you don't like Omega. Omega's a serviceable worker. And it's still Jericho. You got two guys from Winnipeg. Canadian versus Canadian.
Okay, left wing and right wing.
Yeah. Hockey reference, I like that.
Yeah.
But the way Callis plays it off, even with the last appearance of Omega on Impact, Callis is like, held the door and goes, "Hi there. Not in Callis, the Invisible Hand here." I was like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck you. I don't like you. I didn't even like him as Cyrus.
I liked him as... I liked him in ECW. He was funny in ECW.
He's remember the network guy? The long hair dude with the glasses and the little jewel in his head?
Well, we can honestly say this network, RGC Multimedia, the network is not happy with you.
He was the network, quote unquote, air quotes, a representative when they were on CNN. And he was like, well, he's the guy opposing the rules. That Heyman was like just ripping them apart in the background. The infamous TNN promo says, "We hate your stinking network. We hate your rules. We're going to break every one of them."
But he was a great heel. Cause I remember when he was color commentator in an ECW pay-per-view where it was the Dudley Boys. They were going in business for themselves and trying to basically challenging the whole town of Dayton, Ohio.
Yeah, I remember that. The best promo ever.
They had this big duty. He looked like he could have been in ECW development. I thought he was going to be a plant and come in the ring the way they were egging him on. But and then here Bubba Ray Dudley says, "Come here, you big bald motherfucker." And Cyrus said, "How did he know his name?" I thought that was so funny.
Well, do you ever see him on Dark Side of the Ring? Because he probably was part of some of this stuff in the past.
What do you mean?
Whatever. Well, he was there during the Pillman era. When Pillman, maybe they'll interview him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you watch Dark Side, right? Every once in a while. When you saw the Brody episode.
Yeah.
Which you have a vehement hatred for Carlos Colon.
Yeah.
Because you said he basically got away with murder. The guy who killed Brody is doing children's parties now. Under the Mask of Invader 4. You saw, like I said, you saw the Von Erich one, right?
Yeah.
Did you see the Gina Hernandez?
No, I would have loved to see that.
The Gina Hernandez one was good. They did Dino Bravo. You found out Moolah was pimping out the girls to the boys. Yeah.
They had some good ones. New Jack one was good.
New Jack was hysterical.
Road Warriors one was good too.
Did you hear what they're going to do the first episode of the new season? Nick Gage. About the whole bank robbery, the jail time, everything.
Ooh.
And for those who don't know outside the indie area of the Mid-Atlantic, Nick Gage was a hardcore motherfucker who just... Yes, he just basically brought furniture and beat the shit out of you with it.
In CCW.
In CCW. Apparently,
he had cut himself on the thing and tried to wanted to go back in the ring.
Yeah, this is a man who went through light tubes, cut an artery underneath his arm. You see, I remember he had the white Michael Jordan Bulls jersey, and he was spurting blood. And he even got that holy shit look. He ran in the back. While they were patching him up, he says, "Patch me up. I got one more move to go outside. Let me go outside. Let me go." This is a shoot. He was going out there. He wanted to finish the match. He died on the table 30 seconds. He died on the table. The man was addicted to painkillers, from what I understood. He was sleeping in his car at one time. He tried to rob a bank for $3,000. He got caught on video camera, got sentenced 10 years. He did pretty much the 10 years, didn't he?
It was pretty close.
He got on parole. I remember he got on parole. He showed up in CCW. His brother, remember his brother, Justice Payne, was with him. Showed up, and like a couple of months later, he wound back in jail because apparently didn't file the right paperwork to leave New Jersey to go to work for another promotion. So he wound up back in jail. He's out now. I was interested to see them interview Nick Wilson's his real name, Nick, on this. They're going to do Brian Pillman. Because Brian Pillman, the strange coincidence between Brian Pillman and Eddie Guerrero, they both died in Minnesota in almost the same hotel room.
Wow.
Of a heart attack. Did you watch the Chris Benoit one?
No.
It's a two-parter. The first part, they talk about Eddie's death and how it tore Chris up. And even you said Chris wasn't responsible for what he did.
No.
He said because he had a brain of an 80-year-old Alzheimer's patient. Because
Late
of all the
stages Alzheimer's.
Well, yeah, Alzheimer's. Because Christopher Nowinski, who you remember him, worked for the WWE. He got concussions so many times they just let him go. The guy's a medical student. He started writing papers on CTE, the concussion syndromes, which football players are getting, because you hear Junior Seau and a couple other football players committed suicide because of the CTE. He is now their concussion protocol in AEW now.
Yeah.
But that's why you don't see chair shots to the head anymore, anywhere.
Understandable.
Yeah.
All right.
You ready?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, there are some other ones on there too. They also spoke about the Brawl for All. That was a good one.
Oh yeah, because they were building it around Dr. Death Steve Williams, and Bart Gunn knocked him out. Legit. The late Dr. Death, who I met, a nice guy, real sweetheart of a guy.
He had the Herb Abrams UWF. That was a good one.
The original, not the Bill Watts, but when Herb restarted it in California, and basically, what did he steal all the money?
Yeah, and basically he was found dead with, like, I don't know, hookers and covered in cocaine and all kinds of weird stuff. He was a weirdo.
Yeah.
But,
you know what they should do? Messiah.
Yeah,
Yeah, about the whole Rob Black thing. We knew it was Rob Black. You know it's Rob Black. You know Rob Black sent those guys because he was fucking Rob's wife.
Oh, yeah. Well, but then again, she was a porn star, so who was it?
Yeah, Christy Miss, yeah. Which we saw her do the gangbang marathon over and over again. That's where are they now. I would like to look at and see where are they now from XPW.
Oh, God. I don't know, check the graveyards or the,
Well, even New Jack. Remember when New Jack did that dive on the ECW with Vic Grimes?
Yeah.
Off the scaffolding, and you saw him hit head first? He literally cracked his skull. Okay? He had a concussion. He finished the match. You think Vic did it on purpose. So they did a scaffold match for XPW where New Jack threw him way past. He tried to impale him on the ring post.
I mean, this guy
is crazy. He's crazy.
I don't know if you've seen this before, Bev, but this match, it wasn't at some bingo hall. It was at the LA Sports Arena, an arena where they've done Saturday night main events. And they actually had scaffold almost to the ceiling of this arena. New Jack actually had a electric stun gun. Hit Vic Grimes with it and threw him off it had like a stack of tables like alongside the ring, and Vic Grimes just almost missed him, and
he almost died. He was trying to kill him. He was literally trying to kill him.
Wow.
The whole Nick and New Jack, they talked about the whole mass transit thing about the underage kid. Remember he got cut open and he didn't know he cut an artery with an X-Acto knife.
Oh yeah.
And the kid was just burnt. The kid was 17 years old. He lied about his age, and his father was right there. And Heyman got in so much hot water with that because that was an ECW show. Like I said, Find the New Jack one. It's great. It's very informative. They even find Mustafa, his old partner, in the Gangsters. But like I said, the state. What do you think of the state of the business? What do you think of the state of the business right now? Do you think? Because I know how much you love the blood and guts thing. You love the hardcore, but that's not for everybody. You got to have that 31 flavors.
Well, that's one of the things I liked about with the ECW and even on Xandix ECW, how they started off with the regular matches and they built it up, and then the more matches came on, the more hardcore it got until it got to the.
Well, even you said without the hardcore, when you first started going to the shows at that Firehouse, you said it was like an indie show. Then it turned into a hardcore show. The last 2 matches.
Right. Very much.
Very indie. Very very indie. Because a friend of ours, Ruckus, used to work for them.
Yeah.
And I talked to Ruckus. He said he'll never work for them again.
Wow.
He'll never work. He said DJ stiffed him on money.
I'm sorry, but I preferred it better when it had Xandic on it.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't think DJ is.
Well, like I said, when ECW died, you had CZW come. CCW started in '99 when ECW was just now starting to fall.
Yeah.
And there's going to be another hardcore promotion. GCW's going on right now, but you don't know how long they're going to go until they have to change. There's going to be another. It's like Hydra. You cut off one head, 3 more tickets, please. But Cornette, he hates the flippity-floppy guys. We live in an ADD society right now where you want your satisfaction right now. And that's why you got all these hybrid, flippity-floppy, cruiserweight guys who are now being pushed to the fucking moon, which you don't like.
Well, here's why I don't like it. I mentioned
credibility.
Credibility, I want suspension of belief. I want guys who look like they are fighting in the ring, who look like they can fight in the ring. I mean, the there's a difference in the 80s, NWA and WWF. WWF, you had, like, jacked up bodybuilders, pretty much.
Hulk Hogan.
But in the 80s, you had...
Dusty Rhodes.
But you had, not just Dusty Rhodes, but, I mean, you had guys that looked like they were regular-sized guys that would, like, fight in a bar.
Arn Anderson, Ric Flair, Tully,
Terry Funk, those kind of guys. But... And that's what I want. They don't have to be Warlords or your Archers or anybody like that.
They're built like Roman Reigns.
I want them to look like they're athletes. I don't want Marco Stunt. I don't... With the women, Cassidy. I want women who look like they could play for World Cup soccer or tennis or even be bodybuilders. I don't want Riho. Okay?
Riho is this little 90-pound Japanese girl that Kenny Omega is fond over.
He originally wrestled when she was 9 years old.
Yeah, and she's part of this women's eliminator tournament. There's going to be here in the United States, even though she's supposed to be in Japan.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't she supposed to wrestle Deed for the NWA belt?
Yes, NWA is still a thing, even though they're not really doing TV right now because of the shutdown in California. Nick Aldis says he wants to do the territories again, just have the belt travel everywhere. He won the belt against Tim Storm at a CZW show at Cage of Death a few years back. And that crowd shitted all over that match because it wasn't blood and guts and furniture flying all over the place. It was a traditional wrestling match.
But that's what I liked about NWA Power. They looked like they wanted to fight, they wanted to brawl. Even the flippy guys. I like some of the high flying stuff, but
like Ricky Starks.
But now it's in every match. I mean, it's diving through the rope. It used to be so special when like Sabu did it. Now it's like part of every match, like a headlock.
Moxley does it every match. It was like some person said, we even said about Omega last time. How many people complain that Roman Reigns spears too many people too many times? But you'll see V-triggers, knees to the face that Kenny Omega does 80 times in a match, and nobody says a shit.
And Young Bucks with their super kicks. That's why I'm not a fan.
A friend of ours named John Lowry, went with me to a CZW show with the Bucks was there against the Chris brothers. And he says, they're good, but too many super kicks. Too many super kicks. They rely on that too much.
It's overkill.
Yeah, it is overkill. Because how's their theme go? Super kick party.
Right.
Yeah. Great. You saw them. They remind you of the young Hardy Boys.
Yeah.
Where Nick's the Daredevil or Matt's the ground guy, you know?
To me, they're like two Shawn Michaels. They kind of... They're two balding bucks that depend on super kicks. Actually, they kind of remind me of you ran out of a team, not so much their style, but in the sense that they seem like two smaller versions of another wrestler. Do you remember the Headhunters?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the two big dudes from FMW.
Yeah, they looked like two smaller Abdullah the Butchers, but they...
You see them do moonsaults.
They did moonsaults. The first ever ECW show I went to, they were there against the Harris brothers. That was a hell of a brawl.
Oh, and by the way, did you notice that 1 year they were in the Royal Rumble?
Yeah.
And Vince buried them.
Oh, yeah.
Vince buried them.
They were I think
they were called the SWAT team, I think they were called there, or something SWAT team.
Yeah.
And Vince didn't, they were there for like maybe a cup of coffee and left. Vince got rid of them.
Right.
Didn't know what to do with them. And the other good thing I like about WWE, Sami Zayn's fucking a joy right now.
Sami Zayn is... Him
El
and
Generico from the Indies. Sami Zayn, he's got a conspiracy film crew because he lost the Intercontinental title. He's got a film crew following him saying there's a conspiracy theory against him. He handcuffed to the guardrail so he wouldn't leave the ringside.
And he wears like the Che Guevara, the green hat, and he's got the beard. I mean, he sounds like a I don't know, a hipster that goes to like north to Station North or something.
He looks like a pale redheaded version of Fidel Castro.
Pretty much, yeah.
And there's and you know why he's not allowed to do the Saudi shows? He's Syrian by descent. There's heat between Syria and Saudi Arabia. Yeah, he's Syrian by descent. And matter of fact, when the whole civil war happened in Syria, he set up a relief fund to send money to his ancestral home, to help the families that are displaced there by the civil war when ISIS was taking over and the Syrian government was clamping down on the rebellion. And it was like a three-way fucking battle there. But outside of the ring, Sami Zayn's good. Sami Zayn's good. The other thing I like, we're jumping around a little bit, is when I asked you this, I know I want to ask you the same thing now. If they do a Ring of Honor crossover promotion with AEW, if them boys, if the Briscoes come to AEW, who would you want them to see them kick the shit out of?
Anybody.
He said the Bucks. He said the Bucks.
That'll work too, because I love the Briscoes.
Best friends?
Yes. Even if they play a one-on-one soccer tournament and Orange Cassidy is the soccer ball, I'd be down with that.
Could you... The reason why the Briscoes... Vince won't let the Briscoes... They got a tryout. They had a tryout, but Vince never hired them. He didn't like how they talked. Because they're both mumble mouth. They are what they are. They're rednecks from Delaware. And we even said, could you see Dutch Mantel be their mouthpiece? Dutch Mantel is Zeb Coulter when he was Jack Swagger was there,
or Jake Roberts.
Jake Roberts, or somebody with a southern twang to their voice, or even AJ. Have them back up AJ Styles. They're the Ring of Honor boys. Who would you like to see as their mouthpiece? Because Jay could cut a promo, but you can't keep him from cussing.
Well, the fact that those two are demented.
Chicken farmers from Delaware.
I'd like to see your boy Sinister Minister Madison. That would be. Well, you could tweak their gimmick a little bit.
When we had Mitchell on my old show, we even asked him, of the current crop of wrestlers in the WWE, who would he like to manage? You know what his answer was? Aleister Black.
Wow.
Could you imagine him managing Black and being his mouthpiece? Be like Gangrel with the Brood. I was like, holy shit. Oh, and that's another thing. We haven't seen Aleister Black 4 months? 4 months now on TV? And he's still there. They're punishing him because of his wife. Because of her wife got fired for the whole Twitch thing.
Well, at least he's not getting thrown through a table every week.
Yeah, I like that. Lana. When Lana's husband left WWE, he let his 90 days go out, and then he showed up as Miro in AEW. Lana was eating table for 8 straight weeks from Nia Jax. She just got hit through table after table after... That was a punishment.
And that was just in catering. That was just matches. But...
Like the announce table every week, Samoan dropped her on the table. I mean, that was a punishment. That was a punishment, if you think about it.
Yeah.
Vince is petty. We talked about this on the last show where he's suing when Vince ran the XFL for the second time. He had Oliver Luck, Andrew Luck for the Colts. Father run it. He's suing him for how much?
$567.10 or something.
Yeah, and how much billions is Vince worth? And that's pettiness.
Yeah.
That's just pettiness. Okay, Vince is petty. Vince is we call this show the Grumpy Old Man Wrestling Podcast. He is the true Grumpy Old Man.
Yeah, and the grumpy old man, petty old man. He's.
Who do you think? Okay, of all the promotions, who do you think is the best owner right now? Tony Khan?
Oh, jeez, it was.
Anthem Sports? Sinclair? Vince? He should have wearing it, right?
Yeah, I'd say none of them. I mean, maybe. I mean, Sinclair's successful at other businesses, and he just happened to have Ring of Honor.
Yeah, Ring of Honor, yeah.
AEW. The only reason they have money, they're the opposite of Vince. Vince made his money on wrestling and is trying to be a movie producer, trying to be a football commissioner, and all
What's the
kinds of
E
other
stand for WWE? Entertainment.
AEW is the exact opposite. The Khan family, they own the Jacksonville Jaguars, and
a soccer premier team from England,
I think actually a couple teams, I think. But the whole thing with the Jaguars, it's like, people think, oh, well, he's a billionaire, he owns an NFL team who don't follow football. Those who follow football, basically, the Jacksonville Jaguars, well, they actually had the worst record in the league last year in getting the top pick, and they've done that quite a bit, actually.
They suck for the draft, yeah.
Yeah.
Anthem Sports? With Impact?
Anthem, I think, well, they're kind of being petty because of the thing with New Japan, so...
Well, there was speaking of which, there was a tweet from Ring of Honor after Kenta showed up saying, our relationship for New Japan is still good and strong. Yeah. Bullshit.
Well, here's the thing. If you're rating them as far as there's two ways to rate them, I think. One, who you think puts out the best product and who makes the most money.
Whoever makes the most eyes on them, too. Who
makes the most money, it's obvious. Unfortunately, in Vince. It's like I said, it's like hamburgers. It's like you can buy a good hamburger either at a restaurant. You can cook one yourself, or you can go to like a Five Guys. But what do most people want? Big Macs.
Yeah.
That's what WWE is. Yeah.
Mushroom burger for her.
Oh, okay.
Hardee's.
Well,
that's AEW.
Yeah, maybe like AEW. Hardee's or Arby's or something like that.
Impact is the cafeteria at your high school.
Maybe a little better than that.
I haven't watched Impact in a long time.
It's not bad. In reaction's not bad. It's just the stupid skit shit they do.
I like AEW.
And you haven't watched you haven't watched Ring of Honor in how long?
It's been a while.
I haven't watched a Ring of Honor show since the Garden show 2 years ago.
No, hold on. That's not true. We went to Free Enterprise.
We went to Free Enterprise, and I was impressed. With what I saw. Going back to New Japan real quick. They were supposed to have a show at Madison Square Garden last August. Then the world stopped. They're talking about doing that show again this August. If this interpromotional thing happens, AEW is going to be part of that Garden show.
Of course.
I wouldn't be surprised. I'm going. I'll get tickets. I know how to get there. I'll take a train up there. Well, you go. We'll make a day of it. I would like to go. I've never been. It's a wrestling dream to go to Madison Square Garden.
For me, it's a hockey dream. I want to see a Rangers game there. But
you want to go to Gotham and see Penguins getting beat up.
Yeah. Bam!
Bam! But like I said, it's the house that Bruno built.
It's my favorite.
Yeah, that's her favorite is Bruno Sammartino. And I'd always wanted to go to the New Japan show. I didn't get to go to the Philly shows because they were at the old arena because I have money and my car being my car. With New Japan being there, I could have somebody drop me off at Penn Station, take a train up to Grand Central. There's a subway hub everywhere at Grand Central. Go to the Garden, watch the show, come back, boom. And that's easy peasy, man. It's easy peasy. I want to go to a New Japan show so bad I can taste it because I got to download you Wrestle Kingdom. You have to watch Wrestle Kingdom. It's a 2-day show. They do have crowds in New Japan. It's 50% capacity, and they don't wear masks, and they can't use their hands. I don't know
Well,
why.
that means you can't go.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But it's certain weird rules they have, like they can show their support by yelling and shit like that, but all the fans have to wear masks. Yeah. They got a better handle of it over there than it does here. They do. And I got to show you Jay White, who I know you're going to lick the TV screen when you see him. He's a big New Zealand guy, hair down to here, down to like past his shoulders, big bushy goatee beard, and like I said, when you see this, I want to see. Matter of fact, when I'm talking about him, I'll show you what he looks like, and I want your gut reaction when you see what Jay White looks like. And when you see this, he's the best heel they got in New Japan because he actually gets a crowd reaction from the fans.
That's what's that?
Yeah, the fans usually sit on their hands, right? Remember the old WCW cross program? The fans are very respectful. They sit on their hands. Jay White. Wait, hold on. And,
oh yeah, this is good radio.
This is good radio. Well, you're good at editing anyway.
The point of this, folks, Bev likes wrestlers with long hair. Little guys in general.
That's your fetish, yeah.
Yeah.
I like metal.
Yeah. But like I said, when you see, there's the Tungans, who are basically, that's Jay White.
And it's Chris showing on to you people who can't see.
Hello.
We're being recorded. Okay.
I wonder, you say that again, Bev? She's like, nice. And like I said, he came up through the dojo system. He got trained there. He knows how to... You know who one of the trainers, and I heard he's a hard-ass as a trainer in New Japan is? Liger. Don't give me that look. I heard he's a hard-ass to work with. I mean, when he did his retirement tour a couple years ago, he had a match against Minoru Suzuki. What is the ultimate form of respect in Japan? You bow.
What's that? Yeah.
When he beat Liger, Liger's thrown in the ring. Suzuki got on all fours and bowed.
Wow.
And like I said, I watched the Liger retirement show, which Inoki showed up. Antonio Inoki showed up. And I'm hearing stories that Inoki might show up again sometime soon in New Japan. He's up there in age. I don't know if he do anything in the ring. And you get to see his mother, who's in bad health, was there. His wife was there. His son was there. And you never see him without the mask. Never saw him without the mask. Even when he does commentary, the Japanese commentary in New Japan, he's in the mask. Even though that was a wig.
He's like Mill. He's the same way.
Yeah. But, like I said, I want to show you a New Japan show. They don't... Do you know what the expression no sell is?
What's it?
No sell. They don't sell the moves.
Oh, yeah.
They pretty much don't sell the moves there. They take a beating. She's got to see Will Ospreay.
Yeah.
Will Ospreay's a flippy-floppy guy. But he does shit you've never seen before.
Cool.
But, you might like Hiromu Takahashi, who, even though he wears flamboyant clothing, he actually comes to the ring every once in a while with a jean jacket with suicidal tendencies patched on his jacket.
Oh, nice.
I think she'll love Suzuki. She'll love Suzuki. Like I said, next time we get together, and hopefully it'll be soon, I'll give you the show. You'll get to watch the show. I mean, you have to watch the show. You'll be like, oh my God, where have these guys been all my life?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm sorry. I'll get my new Japan check soon.
Yeah, it's a good supplement to the ones you get from Impact. But anyway, God, you pump that show more than anything. It should be getting out of time from us, but they don't need to because you're giving it to them. So anyway, all right. So,
you want to do your socials?
Is there anything you guys want to cover before we even do that?
Not much. Just support indie wrestling when COVID catastrophe ends, and just support your local guy. Support wrestling in period. Even if you don't like Vince McMahon, support the guy you like. You know, support the boys. I mean, they're there to entertain us.
And our guest Bev will be supporting as many long-haired indie wrestlers as possible, but...
Well, not all long hair. Some of the short hair and no
White
hair
beater.
guys are good.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
White beater.
Does he still wrestle?
He's done. He's retired. I think he's in the Hall of Fame, though.
Oh, okay. All right. CCW has a Hall of Fame. Okay.
And Christopher Daniels, who for a man our age can still go.
He's
okay.
He's in much better shape than Jericho. I'll say that.
Jericho's been getting a little criticism that he's getting a little pudgy. He's 50 years old.
Well, what do they expect?
He's got what they call a dad bod now. He can still do the line salt. He can still go. That finisher he does, that Jonas Effect elbow, where he hits you with a spin elbow, pretty good finisher. You can't do the code breaker that much anymore.
Well, I mean, Jericho, though, he's talented in a lot of ways. I mean, he needs to be...
Look at Edge at 47. He's in phenomenal shape.
Right.
But then again, he had, 9 years to work it off,
Right, plus he was on the shelf for a long time, too.
Yeah, that's the 9 years, yeah. I will say this, and I said it before on the other shows. You should have been next to me last year at the Royal Rumble watching at Jimmy's Seafood when Edge's music hit. The ground shook at Jimmy's.
Wow.
Yeah. They were at where the Astros played at a Dome Stadium. They blew the roof off that place. Tears. Happy tears of seeing the return of one of their favorites back, after 9 years. And he did a good 30 minutes in the Rumble last year.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
And he would have gone on better unless he tore his tricep last year. And he was gone for 9 months, so he came back. And from what I'm hearing, he's not a part-timer. He's a full-timer. He's not going to be a part-timer. He's going to be a full-timer.
I don't know. They need star power, and
he's definitely that star they need right now
with their current people. So,
again, I agree with Mustafa Ali. You got all these younger guys, push them.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't know, might be in front of a bus, but anyway. Yeah. All right, you want to give your social stick ad or what?
Christopher James Filato on Facebook and at CFilato on Twitter.
All right. Me, it's this YouTube channel, RGC Multimedia. Also, Twitter channel, Comic Book Action Theater is where you'll find the information for this and the other shows on our channel. And, I don't know, Bev, do you have any social media you want to promote?
Your Facebook, whatever?
No, you don't. Okay, I don't blame you.
I want more pictures. No, I'll send you pictures of my x-rays.
Well, it's better than the pics you usually send girls, Chris. But all right.
Well, I'll see you guys later. See ya.
All right. We'll see you next time because Dickhead here is too much like Tom Brady and can't do a show every week. He's got to do it every other week to keep it fresh. No, keep himself fresh, But anyway.
They got to put me back to the freezer.
Yeah.
See ya.
See ya. Bye.